Hello and welcome. In this video, I'll be giving you an introduction to artificial intelligence. I'm Stanley Olaleke and I'll be your instructor for this session.
This is MEXIBOG AI Bootcamp, and this is module 1 of the training, that's Introduction to Artificial Intelligence. Even though we just need to go through this for record's sake, most of our interactions will be hands-on. It's not just going to be theory, it's going to be practical, and we'll be available to provide you support wherever you need them. Unit 1, Getting Oriented with AI. That's an overview. So the learning objectives of this Unit 1. In Unit 1, you'll be able to understand what AI is and its evolution. You'll also be able to distinguish between natural and artificial minds. Then you'll be able to craft your first AI solution. This needs to be emphasized because at the end of this training, even before the training is over, we expect everyone to be ready with something to present, because we're going to develop AI application. So you're going to have an AI project credited to your name, to yourself. So you can say, I worked on this. You can customize it and say, this is your own project. So is my screen still visible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So understand what AI is and its evolution, distinguish between natural and artificial minds, then craft your first AI solution. So to make you see the possibility of getting these things done, even in less than 4 weeks, let's do something. So crafting your first AI solution. Here's an example of or a simple 4-step procedure to build an AI chatbot. Building a chatbot is not difficult, is not a big deal. I was part of a cohort 2 months ago, and the cohort was formed in 48 hours, and what people built in less than 12 hours, because different heads came together and they were brainstorming on great ideas, and in less than 12 hours, great result that got commendable results. So here's a 4-step procedure to build an AI chatbot. 1, you define the chatbot's purpose and scope. That's the first thing you need to do. If you want to build a chatbot, you have to define the purpose and scope. You decide what your chatbot will do, maybe to answer frequently asked questions, recommend products, or provide learning support. We have people from different disciplines here. We have lecturers. Maybe you want it to aid your learning support or the kind of teaching service you provide for your students. You are in a pool of knowledge, and you need to be able to find a way of, we are calling it chatbot. I prefer calling it an intelligent system, but I think people resonate more with chatbot. So far you have information, you have data, you have resources. Maybe in some offices, you have files that have been stocked for years, and there are data, there are information there. You could scan them and convert them to data and make meaningful insights from them. So whatever domain, whether as a medical doctor, as an engineer, as an artisan, there's so much you can do with data, and you just build an intelligent system around it, and who knows, you can start making money from it. As a lawyer, so many things you can do. So you define the chatbot's purpose. If as a doctor, the purpose for yours will be different from maybe that of a lecturer or an artisan. So identify the type of users it will serve and the kind of questions you should handle. Then step 2, you prepare the data and conversation flows. So you create a list of the users, the questions, the appropriate responses. You organize the conversation flow, maybe the intents, the possible follow-ups and fallbacks. So this thing needs serious planning. The technology is not the big deal. Like I told you, in few hours, you can come up with a very intelligent system. But how intelligent it is depends on good planning. So if you plan it very well, you can present it anyway. So step 3, you build and train a chatbot model. You use an accessible tool or a library, and mostly we're talking about Python. Python is our core language here. For those who are strange to programming, by the end of this training, you will be conversant and be able to make good use of it. So the next thing, you train or build, configure it to with your prepared data. Like I told you, data is crucial here. So the step 4, you integrate and test the chatbot. Whatever model will be, you need to be able to test it and embed it in a website, maybe on WhatsApp, Telegram, or whatever domain you expect your target audience to interact with. Then you test it with real users. Then you gather feedback. So the reason we're starting showing you this is that it's a possibility and it doesn't take time, but we are showing you like the end from the beginning so that you know that among the things you should be thinking of right now is how you can build an intelligent system. We are calling it chatbot because people can easily resonate with chatbot, but it's actually building an intelligent system that you can query, do some automations, manipulations in real time that just one human brain cannot do. And the understanding of the concepts here will also help you appreciate it more. So let me just show you like a sample. Okay, so what can you see now?
We can see the meeting now.
The meeting?
Okay.
We can see the screen.
We can see your screen.
Okay, so what's it showing?
Start with our AI.
All right. So this is something I told you can easily build it in like an hour or even less than an hour. So
sorry, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
Okay. So is there another person who can't see it?
You can see it. We can see it now. It's showing now.
Okay, so maybe you can log out and log in again. Possibly.
Okay, sir.
Okay. All right. So it's actually functional. So it's not hosted on the internet for now. It is locally on this computer, and you can ask any question. Let's say, tell me about Bill Gates. So because it's local here, it might take some time to run, at times depending on the speed of the computer. Okay. So Bill Gates is an American business magnate, software developer, philanthropist, and author. So he's able to do. So you can add anything just to make it query whatever you want to query. And not just that, you can, like I told you, there's something called corpus. Corpus is a collection of your maybe documents, data. Maybe as a medical doctor, you have a lot of information. You can actually query such things and ask AI, ask the intelligent system to bring out insights from it and automate so many processes. So it doesn't have to be things on the internet. It could be, you have information around you. You have so many things in your offices, just be thinking of data, and AI feeds on data. So the technology behind these are the things we are going to be sharing with you. So I just like show you the end from the beginning so that you know that this is a possibility, and each one is expected at the end of this training to be able to come up with, to build an intelligent system. You can interact with audio, with pictures. It doesn't necessarily have to be text. So, but this will set the tone for you of what you're going to be able to build. So it's not just theory or we're telling you stories. This is what you will actually build. Okay, so back to the presentation. As we're starting, so just be thinking of an intelligent system that you can build with data that you have in your possession. So each one is going to build an intelligent system. So what you will learn in this program: one, the core AI concepts and techniques. We are all at varying levels of proficiency, even in use of computer and our knowledge of tech and even AI. So there is what you must have been hearing about AI. You've been hearing or seeing machine learning. What is machine learning? Neural networks, natural language processing, robotics. So AI itself is a combination of so many other concepts and techniques. So, and these are the things that make up AI. It's actually more than these. There are some domains where you have more, but at least these are the most common. And at the core of AI, you must have been hearing machine learning. Whether you talk about natural language processing, machine learning is there. Neural networks, machine learning is there. Deep learning, machine learning is there. Robotics. So machine learning is so important that it's almost the most talked about. But today, because of ChatGPT and generative AI, when people talk about AI, people just assume it is ChatGPT, not knowing that. And ChatGPT is just under natural language processing. And before we even talk about natural language processing, you talk about language models and large language models. So because of the power that we could see generative AI showing forth, people have even almost forgotten about other concepts. So, but we are here to make you see that it is not just about ChatGPT or generative AI. AI itself is actually deep and more than that. So, core AI concepts and techniques. So, what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is the branch of computer science that creates systems that are able to think, learn, and act like humans. So, human is even at the core of this. They are trying to mimic the way humans think, humans reason, the cognitive functions, everything that has to do with your reasoning, your thinking. That is what AI is trying to do. It's trying to mimic that. It's trying to behave like humans. And such systems that could think, learn, and act like humans, they are called intelligent systems. So it's actually a branch of computer science. But these days, a lot of people who don't even have anything to do with computer science have taken over AI. You find people, I was part of a workshop, and people who had nothing to do with science, they are the one taking charge, talking more of AI than even the people who actually studied science or technology. So, and why? Because of maybe generative AI, ChatGPT, people have now launched into it. So later in the course of our training, you get to know about the career paths that you can get into in AI. There is AI engineer, there's AI developer, and AI strategist. So you can fit into any of this. Many don't know, and you also get to know. So these are some of the things we're doing to prepare you for whichever role you want to take. A lot of people who are just crashing out, just talking about AI, most of them don't even know how to build anything. So what a privilege for you to be part of this learning. So instead of following only fixed instructions, AI uses data and algorithms to recognize patterns. Data are raw facts and figures in their unprocessed form. Maybe you have things like that they are not processed, they are data. But when data is processed, it becomes an information. And even that information that you have, it can still be called data depending on where it is being used. AI feeds on data. So the fuel for AI is data. Without data, AI cannot function. And the more availability of data, that's why we're talking about big data, the more intelligent your systems become. So, and like I said, AI uses data and algorithms to recognize patterns. Algorithms are codes, programs that are written to be able to solve problems. So when you're able to recognize patterns, make decisions, and solve problems, and even generate new content. So that is what AI does. Then you should also know that AI is not a single technology, but a collection of methods. And we'll talk about the measure from machine learning to natural language processing to computer vision and robotics. Just like we mentioned, they work together to mimic human intelligence. So let's talk about machine learning. We're breaking it down. Machine learning is that branch of AI. Is a branch of AI where computers, they learn from data without being explicitly programmed. So it confuses many people. So is the simple way is machine learning from data. So where the data you have, machine is just learning from that data. Example is like your spam detection on your phone, on your emails. With time, the more spam emails you have, the more the detection system realizes that no, this is a spam. It now categorizes it. So if you are using Truecaller, you see that there are a lot of some messages they will categorize as spam because it's been trained on fraudulent data. It knows that no, these data are scams. So in that way, that is machine learning from data. You don't necessarily have to write the codes. You don't necessarily have to write codes to do that, even though there are algorithms that handles that aspect. But later when we're getting deep into that, you'll get to know about how machine learning works. So even your product recommendations, maybe like on Netflix recommending movies to you, YouTube recommending videos to you, Facebook recommending friends to you, that is machine learning. It learns from data, knowing that, okay, your friend is a friend to this. That's why it's able to show you mutual friends. Behind it, behind the logic, is machine learning. That's how it's able to suggest friends to you, maybe suggest music to you on Apple. And so maybe you visited a store before. At times you visit maybe like Jumia. You visited Jumia website and you discover you're on Punch News website and it's showing you adverts from Jumia. You'll be wondering why. The same, maybe you wanted to buy a necklace. Why is it showing you this necklace? It's because it's been able to learn from your data and the cookies. That's why most of the time you just accept. Though in some cases, there are the requirements for you to be able to view the site or check some things on the site. But most times, I think from now, you just know why or what you're agreeing to, because your data is being collected and their AI or machine learning model is being trained based on the data it has. So machine learning from data, from your browser history, from the sites you visit, it knows that, okay, these are the kind of news you like. Maybe you are someone who likes horror films, it will start recommending horror films. So that's machine learning, learning from data. Then there's deep learning. Deep learning is a higher level of machine learning, is deeper level of machine learning. The algorithms are more intense than the normal machine learning. So with that, is like a multi-layer networks, and it's able to do more tasks. And that's why it excels at image, speech, and language tasks. So it's a deeper learning. That's why we call it deep learning. And we have neural networks. Neural networks work like the human brain. Neurons, that's where it picks the name from. If you go deep into neural networks, you'll be having things like some technologies, concepts like feedback and feed forward. So, but we won't go deep into that. So there's also natural language processing. It's part of the core AI concepts and techniques. So natural language processing is what has made people know AI so much these days. Those ChatGPT, the Gemini, the Copilot, they are the things now that people talk about. And it's not just limited to natural language processing. So what is natural language processing? They are techniques that allow machines to understand, interpret, and generate human language. Someone was asking that, why do we still need programmers when machines can generate codes? It was like a debate. So the question, the response someone gave was that programming is tending towards natural language, where you now speak English and it will respond. Before you could get responses from computers like that, someone needs to program some things. But now it's human language. You send some information and you get results almost instantly. So that's how we'll be able to find its application in chatbots, in language translation, in sentiment analysis. It can analyze sentiments, can analyze a speech and know if it is hate speech, or maybe it can detect whether someone wants to commit suicide. There are some algorithms that can be written such that if you post things on maybe social media, maybe on Twitter can detect. Maybe someone has been writing about this life, one should just end his life someday, but not knowing that all those things are being monitored, and the sentiment analysis can just trigger an alert and possibly even alert your friends and loved ones that this person is at the verge of committing suicide. Please come to his or her rescue. So that is natural language processing. Then we have computer vision. Computer vision enables machines to see and interpret images or videos. Things like facial recognition, self-driving car cameras, the medical image analysis, that's computer vision. And like I told you, at the core of all these things is still machine learning, because they still learn from data. Don't forget, machine learning is computers learning from data. So there's robotics. Robotics was so popular, even popular than generative AI, natural language processing in the past. Robots combines AI with physical devices. That's where mechanical and electrical engineers, I think there's a field called mechatronics engineering, where they build the mechanical components of robots and electrical devices. Then AI comes to now power it, to make it intelligent so that they can move, sense, and act in the real world. You find it in working on cars, fixing engines, in maybe manufacturing, where they manufacture some drinks. You find robots stealing products, moving them from one process to the other. in sequential form. It's been programmed. So AI comes to play there. And also in drones, in military warfare, they can send drones to some areas and they can monitor it. Even self-driving cars. So AI can power all those things. You can automate so many processes with robotics. So another thing you also need to know is intelligence and agents. All of us know what intelligence is. Intelligence is the ability to perceive, reason, learn, and act. So AI systems or agents, such as maybe human or machine, whether human or machine, they can sense their environment and take actions to achieve goals. We'll still see the difference between the human mind and the natural mind and the artificial mind, so that you will appreciate the reason we are making you go through all this things, so that you can start forming your own concepts or things that you can develop. You can develop robots. Sorry to say, it doesn't necessarily have to be a generative AI project. Maybe you've been having difficulty doing some task in the office. To think of you programming an AI that can assist the robots, get the help of mechatronics engineers that can help you build the components and power it up, then AI will do the work around the simulation. So agents are systems, whether human or machines, that sense their environment and take actions to achieve goals. So another thing you need to consider are the ethics and responsible AI. Even though we've talked about building intelligent systems, it's also good for us to know about the ethics of AI, even though there's still a serious debate on that. Then talking about responsible AI. Responsible AI actually means ethical AI. So we need to ensure that AI systems are fair, transparent, secure, and aligned with human values. It includes privacy, bias reduction, and accountability. You don't build systems that will go and invade someone's privacy. So these core concepts that we've mentioned, the machine learning, the deep learning, the neural networks, computer vision, they form the foundation of AI. So from learning and perception to language, vision, ethics, these together, the power today's intelligence systems. So what you will learn in this program, we first talked about the core concepts. That's the first thing we mentioned. So this is number 2 of what you learn. You learn Python programming for AI. Please don't confuse. There's Python programming. You can learn Python programming for several things, but our focus is Python programming for AI. And you will know the reason we are using Python. Why don't we use other languages? What's the reason, the rationale behind this? So we need to be able to know that. So Python programming for AI. And like I said, our focus is on AI. You can program Python for games or several things. Our focus here is on AI. So Python can do several things. So we'll let you know about Python. So what is Python? If you see this logo by the left, can you see the screen, the new screen?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, so that's the logo for Python. In the past, we used to know Python as a snake. When you Google Python, maybe like 20 years ago, it's snake that you should. But now Python is computer programming language that is has taken over everywhere. So Python is one of the most popular programming languages in the world, and it's excellent choice for beginners. So there are other programming languages like C, C++, maybe Fortran, Basic. They actually set the pace, the foundation for the things we're learning now. So what is Python? Python is a high-level programming language that is very easy to learn. Take my word for that. Python is very easy to learn, and it finds its way in several use cases. So Python is designed to be easy to read and write. The syntax is clean and looks like a plain English, which means students can focus more on what they are trying to do and less on complicated rules. So it helps you to be able to focus on what you want to do. So example, in Python, to display hello in many languages, you need just like you need to say hello. So, but in Python, you just simply write print hello.
I wanted to ask a question because the other time when you were speaking about the future of programming and all that, and you said that
Yes.
with natural language, you might not
Yes,
be
sir.
able to need to program and code again. So I'm now wondering, what will be the relevance of coding or programming language like Python in the future if human beings can just use human language to communicate to computer?
Yes, it's still very much contended, because I still read about the CEO of NVIDIA, the graphics card. He said learning programming is a waste of time. But a lot of people are debating that it's not a waste of time, because logical reasoning, analytical reasoning, that's one of the things that programming does for you. And Python, a lot of libraries have been written in Python. And that's just because we're benefiting from libraries. We'll talk about libraries later that people have written, programs that people have written. We now feel that no, there's no need to learn it again. Because for developers, for those who want to be creative, who want to make something meaningful, and who want to know why this is being done, programming language will still be very relevant, and it's still very relevant. People who are creating stuff, who are making waves. They know about programming. So that's the reason. But the thing is just that now it's not as difficult as it used to be before. I remember several years ago, if you program and you have errors, you'll be looking for Stack Overflow, go to GitHub to find a solution. But now, just if there's an error, your AI assistant will show you where the error is and will give you the code to correct your mistake. But before, you would do Google search, and at times it's dead end. But even before, you can say that you don't need programming, because there are some tasks that if you don't have the knowledge of programming, you won't know the right question to ask. So, but if you know the basics of programming, that's when you can now engage your AI assistant like ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot. Why am I getting these errors? Because if it gives you solutions, it will be difficult to interpret. So it is still very much relevant, but it's just that people are saying that the future of programming is natural language, not our high-level languages, and that will be interpreted. But at least for now, we know we are thinking of the future, but let's still stick with what is so much relevant for us. All right, thank you, sir. Python is very easy to read. So it's like plain English. Just type print hello. But in some other languages, it needs some special formatting. Python programming for AI. Another thing about Python is versatile. It works everywhere. So it's not just for one thing it is used for. Like in web development, Python is very, very good. Like one of the frameworks I use, the Django, they call it the D is silent. D Django is a very wonderful web framework that was written in Python, and is the Django that they use in building YouTube. It's the same Django that they use in building Instagram, the same Django that was used in building Eventbrite. Then these several other applications like that. It's a very powerful, robust application. So when it comes to web development, I'm not talking about web. There's difference between web design and web development. Maybe like a company or somebody just needs to advertise their goods and services. You don't really need big applications like that. But when you need to build something like Facebook, that's where you now use this robust framework. So that's for web development. Then in also data science, what we are benefiting from today that we are saying generative AI, we're talking about there's no need for programming. People have been making research and are still making research. So it's the product of their research that we are benefiting from today. In data science, in machine learning, they are analyzing huge amounts of data, and Python is being used to teach computers to learn. So Python, when it comes to data science, number one is Python. In fact, in recent times, I've not seen people working with data science. Maybe some people use R, but Python is dominant. One of the reasons is because people have written a lot of libraries. When I say libraries, people have written a lot of reusables that maybe you want to build a game. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just go and pick what you need and use it to build your own components and put it together, and it becomes your own. And Python is open source. So there's automation, which you can also achieve with Python. So you can write scripts to do repetitive tasks for you. So like I said, in game development also, Python is wonderful, even though Python is not the best when it comes to game development. But Python is, at least they're taking, their focus was not game development, but people are writing programs that are good that you can use Python for. And another thing is huge community. Python has a massive, helpful community. If you ever get stuck, I doubt you can get stuck. There's such a quick search online. And with AI assistance, you will get results almost instantly on Python. So why are we learning it? Learning Python teaches you computational thinking. Like I said the other time, it helps your logical reasoning. It helps you to be able to be organized in the way you reason. You reason differently from others. They just know that this one is different. It's how to break down big problems into small chunks, manageable steps that computer can follow is a foundational skill for almost any modern career, not just programming. As a data scientist, use Python. As a doctor, doctors are using Python for disease detection, even pharmacists to be able to prescribe drugs and to know some certain ailments that before it takes a very sound doctor or with years of experience. But now with machine learning, working with Python, they're able to do so much. We need to install Python on our systems. Tomorrow is practical, but I want to guide us on how you will install Python so that when we're talking, if we're practicalizing some things, it will be very easy. So we won't be talking abstract. So before we can use Python, we need to install Python interpreter. Like I said, Python is a high-level programming language, and there's also low-level programming language, so it has to be interpreted. As you're installing Python, there's an interpreter that does convert it to the machine-readable form. Normally, computers only understand zeros and ones. Later, we'll get to know how computers have become, even when it comes to the deep learning, where computers only understand zeros and ones. Then how does it recognize image? How does it recognize voice? How does it recognize voice to the extent that it can clone voice, clone videos? So we need to install Python on our systems. Then we'll install Python. Some of the tools we'll use. I will share another screen where we'll download Python. Then we'll also download Visual Studio Code. Then another tool we'll be using is Anaconda. You'll be wondering, actually, the things you can do with Anaconda, you can do it in Visual Studio Code. Then, because I need to expose it to a number of tools, then you can also use Google Colab. It has a Jupyter Notebook inside. So Anaconda has a combination of Python and Jupyter Notebook. So, but I would still like us to install Python on itself so that you can know that I have this thing and know some use cases, situations where you'll be able to use it. There's a very important concept I like to bring to our notice. You know, the chatbot I showed you the other time, you could see that it is web-based, right? And behind it, there are codes. But what you see on the surface is a working intelligence system that you type in normal English and it responds. But we also need to let you know there's something called the back end and the front end. Even though this class is not about software development, but it would be wrong for us not to let you know about software development, because that chatbot or whatever intelligence system, maybe ChatGPT or Gemini that you see, they are softwares. We're teaching you AI, and we're also teaching you how you can build softwares, even though the software will be teaching you is going to be web-based, because you don't necessarily have to start installing it on people's computer, like maybe Microsoft Word as an application that people have to download. So with web-based application, you can do this just like you have Microsoft Excel, but you can now also have Google Sheets that does the same work that Excel you have normally on a computer does. You have the web form. One of the advantages of the web form is, especially when it is in the cloud, when it is, you can access it anywhere. But the one physically on your computer is when you are stationed on your computer. Even though cloud computing has its own merits and demerits, we'll get to know also about that. So we need to install Python, we need to install Visual Studio Code, then we also need to install Anaconda. So I'll be guiding you through that. Natural language processing and large language models, these are some of the things you'll learn, but I want us to install Python for now. Then number 4, you learn about frameworks like LangChain. See, let me go back to natural language processing. This natural language processing, it is still Python that you use there. In large language models, it is still Python. Large language models are the things that powers generative AI, like ChatGPT, OpenAI, like that. So it is still Python. So that's why we need to install Python and the working environment. Frameworks like LangChain. LangChain will help you to put the pieces together, and LangGraph does similar work. So all these things, they are still in Python. So you can see how Python is so important here. Then vector databases. Vector database is so powerful that it helps in searching, and even with audio, and that is speech AI, because some of the things, another project, you should be thinking of what you can do with maybe audio as well. So it's not limited to only text alone. So Python is still at the core of all these things. Then another thing you learn is the AI ethics and career pathways, where we'll talk about the careers you can, even the things you need, will expose you to that, will give you the tools, give you everything that you need. All right, thank you so much. And if you have any issue with the installation, because the installation, I will make it the guide is going to be very simple to follow. If you just follow it, you'll get the result.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. See you tomorrow afternoon. Bye. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.